Alright folks, before I even start the video, let me show you what my table looks like, because once I sit down and zoom in, you won't be able to see much of the rest of the table. But I always have a bunch of little different pliers, clippers, scissors over there. I have a little micro scale. I have several different types of hooks. I have several different types of leads. I use only 2 pliers actually. Crazy glue. You're gonna need a toothpick for sure. These are my finished hooks. And then heat gun and some colors from Protec, and I paint them. And the finished hooks go in these little labeled plastic containers based on which hook I used, what is the weight of the head, and what is the size of the hook. And I found that this whole process goes much smoother with some kind of beer, and usually I'm listening to some country radio station. Okay, let's start with the hooks, because actually hooks are the only reason I'm doing all of this here. Okay, I know a lot of people are doing their own jig heads to save money, but this is not why I'm doing it. And as a matter of fact, my jig heads are a lot more expensive than what you can find on eBay or in Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops. The only reason I am doing the jigs myself is so I have a quality hook on my jig heads. Now, I don't know why, but when it comes to crappie fishing, there is nothing on the market with a decent hook. For the love of Jesus, why doesn't anybody make a decent crappie jig head with a sharp hook? Basically, everything on the market is made either with the mustard jig heads, which are not cheap and not sharp, or even worse, with the eagle claw sickle hooks, which are just they're the worst in terms of sharpness, and they have these huge barbs that make removing the hook from the fish so difficult, and you get it all bloody and destroyed. And I release 99% of my crappie, and I hate to throw them back when I see blood, coming out of their nostrils. So I want a sharp hook with a small barb, and this stuff here is the best. Now these are just split shots that I buy from China to get them cheaper, because quality of the split shot is not important. I'll show you in a minute. They can be deformed, it doesn't matter. I buy all kinds of sizes. Usually the cost is about $3 to $4 per 100. When you get these split shots from China, if you have a micro scale, put 10 of them on the scale and see how much they weigh, because I've had cases where instead of 1 gram, they're 0.9 gram or 1.1 gram. I keep them in these containers labeled, again, this is 1 gram, I have 0.8 gram, I have 1.5 gram. And I even have some over there 2 and 3 grams. But yeah, the cost of the weights per 100 is, let's say, $4. And then you're gonna need some glue. I love this Loctite, crazy glue here, just because it's kind of a gel and it doesn't drip, okay? And it's super easy to work with. Now the cost of crazy glue per 100 hooks, I estimate around $3 per 100. You're also gonna need some pliers. One of these pliers has serrated mouth, or what should I call it, blades, serrated, okay? And the other one is smooth. And you can do everything with just one pair of pliers, but I'll show you why this works much better. So maybe $10 you have to put fixed cost in pliers, but you can use the pliers for a lot of other stuff too. Okay, so let's discuss the total cost then. The owner hooks per 100, okay? You're gonna have $25 per 100 for the cost of the hook. You're gonna have $4 for the lead, and you're gonna have $3 for the glue. All of this is per 100, so the cost of 100 of these is $32, okay? The cost of the sickle hooks is, let's say, $8 per 100 for the hook, $4 for the weight, $3 for the glue. So that makes $15 per 100 hooks of cost. So whether or not this is worth for you, everyone can consider for themselves, but let's actually make a couple of them so you can see how ridiculously easy it is. Let me try to find one very deformed split shot on purpose. Okay, this one is pretty deformed. It's quite misaligned. I know you can't see right now, but let me put it on and I'll show you how misaligned it is. And I'll show you that because lead is so soft, it just doesn't matter. Okay, let's make this one faster, even though it's not gonna be so easy to see on camera. Okay, so grab it with the pliers, put 1 drop of glue, okay, get 1 hook, put the hook, just run the glue a little bit inside, put it in the middle, and just close it enough so the split shot doesn't fall. Okay, now move it over to the other hand. So you're holding the pliers in your dominant hand, and now see how the half of the split shot that is on top is more this way, and the half of the split shot that is on the bottom is more that way. Okay, this side is kind of okay. So when you grab it with the pliers like this, the top part of the jaw of the pliers will be pushing this way, and this part of the mouth of the pliers will be pushing this way. And because lead is so soft and malleable, with just a little bit of pressure, look, they're aligned now. I even over pushed it. That's how soft it is. Now I need to go a little bit back the other way. Okay, and now it's perfect. Ready to clamp. Again, half clamp on one side, turn it around, and the final clamp on this side, and boom, we are done. We have a little bit of glue squirting out. Get your toothpick and spread it all over the crack of the split shot. Okay, and you're done. Like I said, I don't like to lock it with the serrated pliers because you're gonna leave marks on the head of the split shot, and I don't like the marks. I want it to be perfectly smooth when I'm done. That's why I use these pliers to lock it. But that's it. That's how easy it is to make this. It does take about 30 seconds per one. Once you have made a few dozen of them, it takes about 30 seconds. Now let me show you how easy it is to paint them. Now if you look at this jar, it has a little toothpick inside. Usually you're gonna need toothpicks for this whole process. They just help a lot. But I use these toothpicks to stir the whole thing before I start working with it. And this toothpick stays inside the jar. It just fits perfectly. It stays inside the jar at all times. Don't use the same toothpick to mix different jars because you will mix the colors and that's not good, okay? So, actually one more thing. You don't need these guys, but they make the whole experience much more easy because these are lockable. I can get one of these jig heads here and I can just lock it inside and that's it. Now I don't need to hold the pliers with tension the whole time, which gets you tired very quickly. You know, you can hold it like this and you will never drop it. That's why I recommend these guys. Okay, let's do a couple of them. So you get a jig head, you grab it with the locking pliers, okay, and On my gun it takes about 5 seconds, but this will vary based on your gun and based on your ambient temperature, but be careful not to hold it over the gun too long or the lead will melt and drop inside the gun and bad things will happen, okay? So let's do one. And by the way, so once it's hot, I dip it inside, and my dipping process is dip, shake, shake, and out, okay? And the whole thing should not last even a full second. If you hold it inside more than a second, you're gonna get unmelted particles on top of it. And then when I take it out, I put it back over the gun for just a couple of seconds, but not right over the gun where it's too hot, but actually 3-4 inches above the gun. It's kind of getting out of my camera, but I kind of want to bake it a little bit over the gun, and yeah, just a few seconds, but higher from the lip of the gun. So let's do this, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, quick dip, and then take the little tool, run it through the eye of the jig head. Okay, this one is clear, and this is what it looks like with this particular color. Okay, and here is the finished product when it's all painted and dried. These colors are usually very brilliant. I have to say, I like my jig heads better than anything I've seen on the market from United States, okay? From Japan, they don't come painted. The Japanese, I don't know, they only paint them black or not painted, but I just love the look of my jig heads and the quality. These are amazingly sharp hooks, and the paint, I forgot to mention, I don't bake this. I think this baking is kind of nonsense when it comes to crappie fishing. These will not chip from fish or from brush, okay? If you're a bass angler and you're running this on the bottom from bumping on rocks and everything, then you may want to bother with baking, but for crappie fishing, it's not worth it. Trust me, just try it without baking and see if it chips. And if it chips, then start baking. But yeah, this is how mine look like. I prefer, to be honest with you, the non-glowing colors more than the glowing colors. These are my two favorite colors, just blue and red, okay? And there is one really nice green here as well. I only have a couple of them. I'm gonna paint some of that green as well. So that's it for this video. But if I forgot to mention anything, just ask me a question. The benefits of having a small YouTube channel are that I can reply to all my questions, okay? So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.